Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some, well, in all honesty, kind of crazy news when it comes to court, when it comes to law, when it comes to PlayStation versus Xbox, Xbox versus PlayStation. We're seeing commissioners, we're seeing regulators, we're seeing these like secret court documents, those super high level, like 90-story skyscraper building meetings going on, and some kind of crazy stuff. We have basically Microsoft now trying to go and sue PlayStation. We're seeing the FTC getting involved. We're seeing the EU antitrust and everything all in between. So I want to go give you guys kind of these big highlights because a lot of really big legal stuff has come out these past few days when it comes to this Activision acquisition, the deal between Xbox and PlayStation, and of course PlayStation kind of still being, well, a little bit anti this whole deal, kind of rightfully so, but at the same time, with Xbox being in the news with so much bad stuff recently, we got to give Xbox a little break. So you want to know what, Sony? You are the bad guys in this video, and let's go and talk about it. As well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter, Twitch stream down below. We have the Target links. We have Amazon links. We have everything all in between. Howl links as well. We have a few more days left on that one. So check that stuff on out and give me your thoughts and comments as we go and, well, get a little bit sad on all of this news. So I'm sure you guys all know. I don't really have to go that deep dive into it. Microsoft trying to buy Activision, trying to get Blizzard, trying to get Call of Duty, PlayStation, no likey, they no wanty, no. And obviously a lot of these big financial and also regulatory bodies of the government in the EU, in America, and other places are very, very concerned about potential monopolies, potential about, the game industry. Google, Apple, and all those guys are against this too. But now we're seeing Microsoft kind of taking a little bit of an offensive when it goes towards PlayStation. So we now see Microsoft has subpoenaed PlayStation for its defense now against the FTC lawsuit. The Xbox maker wants Sony to divulge information on its business, but as well, we'll cover this a little bit later on, also Sony has also been doing some big antitrust stuff. So basically, Microsoft has served Sony Interactive Entertainment with a subpoena as it looks to build its defense now against the Federal Trade Commission with the lawsuit going on to make sure they could actually make this Activision acquisition happen. So according to a court filing, the Xbox maker wants Sony to divulge information it believes is relevant to its case, which may include confidential details that Sony would be reluctant to share with its rival if possible. So this actually might be kind of good news for Xbox and maybe bad for PlayStation, like funny enough. Now, I'm going to probably say that Microsoft is not really the bad guy in this whole acquisition Activision type stuff, but I feel like Sony kind of did try to go and push a little bit hard and had a pretty okay and fair deal. So basically, negotiations between Sony Interactive and Microsoft as to the scope of the Sony Interactive production and the discovery schedule are ongoing. The filing reads, referencing unspecified documents it has requested. Following a week-long extension, Sony has until January 27th to move to limit, quash, or otherwise respond to the subpoena. But as you guys know, as of right now, we also have like the weekend ongoing too, so they have a little bit extra longer time, I believe, or at least just in general, or like sometimes the court dockets take a few days to show up. So we might get more information soon. So in December, the FTC announced plans to sue Microsoft in a bid to stop its $70 billion acquisition, which the regulator argues would enable the company to suppress competitors to its Xbox console, subscription content, and cloud gaming. Among other concerns, the FTC and Sony have expressed worries that the deal could significantly reduce PlayStation's ability to just compete in general, given that it would see Microsoft gain ownership of the Call of Duty series, which Sony has called irreplaceable. Very, very big news to know this because, as you guys know, it's just a few billion-dollar franchise. It's all around nice. So in their responses to the FTC's complaint, Microsoft and Activision have argued that their merger would be pro-competitive and benefit consumers by making the Call of Duty publishers' games more broadly available. As well, so in a bid to address regulatory concerns, Microsoft recently said it has offered Sony a 10-year long deal, as I'm sure you guys have known about with that one too as well. And they also said that the FTC said earlier this month that there had been no substantive settlement talks with Microsoft over these proposed acquisitions, and if it goes to trial, the case will be judged during hearings set to take place in August 2023. So a lot of things to know. Number one is that we are still seeing a lot of skepticism when it comes to, like, say, the FTC, basically saying, like, this is not, you're not convincing us, like, you're not going to really make this deal go through. But Microsoft, and there are Microsoft lawyers, they're on the opposite side. They keep on thinking that this is like a big thing, easy peasy. They're going to just go through it and have a pretty good time. Like, they're thinking like this is going to go through no matter what. But obviously Sony is the biggest like roadblock here. I think if Sony came out and said, yeah, that's fine, we'll work out a deal, kind of how Nintendo and Steam did, I think this deal would actually go through. I think like the regulatory bodies would be like, well, if no one else like Google or Microsoft or you guys are all chilling, having drinks together, then like fine. Sure, but that's kind of I think why PlayStation has stepped up, because they're like, hey, like, bro, like, are we gonna let them do this? Nintendo's like, we got Mario, who cares? Steam's like, yo, bro, like, we're just a publisher, we don't care, just put the games on us either way, we're chilling. And I think that's one of the bigger issues when it comes to this. So Sony, as of right now, will maybe have to release a lot of sensitive information when it comes to their company, because maybe you have to go and see like the exact number of sales, maybe exact number of like digital downloads, maybe the exact number of how many downloads maybe Call of Duty has, and like how many maybe active player base. And a lot of this information is you can kind of somewhat guess it, or sometimes they'll release it in big press meetings, but as of right now, it's not usually that atypical. Like, it's not really the most typical thing known to man when it comes to folks seeing this stuff or getting this stuff at the end of the day. And I think that's a big thing to kind of go and know, is that you, well, want to keep this information private. But with Sony kind of going and sticking their heads out there and trying to call these on out, if you go to proper court, they're going to have to go, like these lawyers and these like federal trade commissions and these big like regulators, they need to go and see all this information to know and make an informed decision. So basically Sony may have actually kind of did something kind of bad here and maybe overstepped, but it might be one of those things that they were maybe expecting. This might have been part of the game plan, where they may have known that, yeah, if we want to try to stop this and halt this, it might work out better for us, because although we may have to give out private information, it may go install this court case, it might give us an extra 1 or 2 years for basically Call of Duty, and also might give even more time for us to work around alternatives to make either a better game, or maybe work on some of our other IPs, or whatever it might go and be. So very, very intriguing stuff to see at the end of the day. Now, as well, we also saw even more stuff where the Sony CEO, Jim Ryan, was even meeting with antitrust bosses, having a private meeting, a report says, where the PlayStation boss makes his case in Brussels, interestingly enough. So the European Union's market regulators were reportedly about to present Microsoft with a sheet containing issues they would like to see the company to resolve before they can actually agree with its planned $70 billion acquisition. It's also right after, too, where they want to involve a PlayStation and Sony. So to make matters worse, Reuters now reports that Sony CEO Jim Ryan, possibly the greatest opponent to this, as I mentioned for the prior talk, and why they're even in the court now, has a meeting with the EU antitrust commissioner Margrethe Vestager. The Danish politician has held this post since 2014. Unfortunately, the source cited by the report did not divulge any information about what was being said, what they're talking about, and all of that. Now, I'm kind of imagining, too, is that if you're the biggest competitor, you have to almost kind of see if these rights are to be maintained. I would almost want to say that Jim Ryan would want to almost have, like, perpetual Call of Duty rights if they could. I mean, at the same time, Xbox is making money, or at least have some sort of, like, a proper, better deal and leverage, because, well, they might get a 10-year deal, but what happens after that 10-year deal? Then you lost a $70 billion company that's no longer making games for your platform that you have to replace. And once again, that's a lot of money. $70 billion is a lot. So say it's common practice to let competitors weigh in on a case like this. It's also, I guess, common practice for Xbox to sue PlayStation and get their opinions. These statements are often available to the public. For example, everyone can read what Sony, Ubisoft, and other companies told the Brazilian and UK regulators, which we saw a lot, where a lot of these big companies were very against this court case. They did not want it, especially when it comes to the cloud gaming side. That has been the strongest one, where like the Azure and cloud hosting from Microsoft, even as of recently, made like $20 billion. Like, it was the biggest growth margin. It was probably one of the only parts of the company that made money. And look at Amazon too. Amazon AWS is one of the only big, like, kind of bullish use cases, because for cloud gaming, cloud computing. And well, it's very hard to compete with U+, PlayStation Plus, or, you know, Google Stadia, etc. So that's kind of another big thing when it comes to this monopoly issue. So while Microsoft's deal was given the go-ahead in Brazil, regulators, as we mentioned, are still skeptical about it. And as we just talked about, too, the Federal Trade Commission, the United States opted to sue Microsoft over the deal, where also Sony then was also handed that subpoena, as we just covered before, because they want to get that information. They want to go and deal with it in court. They want PlayStation to step up and kind of give their thoughts on it. Now, this is going to be kind of more concerning, too, because I think a lot of Xbox and Microsoft folks thought this deal was going to go through quicker, and so far there's been like just delay after delay after delay, where it's now going to court, and the hearing's going to be in 2023, where we're hearing rumors that it was going to be done even quicker than that. So very intriguing stuff to hear about, and give me your thoughts and comments down below, mainly because I think Sony is playing a hard ball, but it might be the right play at this time. We'll have to go and see. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, we have the brand new Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff down below. How links for a few more days left on their pre-sales, Target, and Amazon links too. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.